Hello everybody. So welcome you all to this new session where we are dealing with the new chapter called integrals. Friends, this is one of the major chapter in your second PUC mathematics which has the highest weightage as per the getting marks concerned. Is it clear? This is a heavy weightage chapter, so I want you to pay clear attention in every session of this chapter so that you can maximize your marks in your second PUC examination, not just the examination point of view. This chapter integrals comes under the concept of integral calculus for your further mathematics classes. That is, either if you are going for engineering or if you are going for BSc classes, you would definitely deal with integrals in your future classes. Okay, so with this introduction, we'll directly get on to the topic called integrals. I hope you are excited, and I'm also excited too for this. People say high budget, big budget movie. So in the same way, this is a big budget chapter in your second PUC mathematics. So the name of the chapter would be integrals. Now before we go into the problem working part of the integrals, now let us actually see what is the concept of integrals. Now in the process of differentiation, we have seen a function would be given, you would find its derivative, is it not? So that is called differentiation, but here this is the reverse process of differentiation. Okay, here what happens, the process of finding the function whose derivative is given is called integration. Is it clear? In differentiation, function would be given, you find out its derivative. Okay, in integration, your derivative would be given, you have to get back the function. So this is called the process of integration, and it is the reverse process of differentiation. As I told you, integration is the reverse process of differentiation, and bear this in mind. When we say integrals, integrals are also called antiderivatives. Is it clear? Because whenever we say anti, it is the opposite. For example, for virus we say antivirus, for bacterial we say antibacterial. In the same way, for derivatives we call the integrals as the antiderivatives. Is it clear? Now you know the concept of integration, the process of finding the function whose derivative is given is called integration. Okay, now we are going into the basic formulas of integration. Are you ready? Okay. Now I want to give you a small note before we're going to start the concept. Now whenever I say integrals, there are two types of integrals. One is indefinite integral, the other one is definite integral. Okay, now remember, if I have to integrate without any limits, for example, integration of f of x dx, if I say, this is called indefinite integral because the limits from the lower end and the upper end is not prescribed. If I say, for example, limit from a to b f of x dx, okay, when the limits of the function in which I have to integrate is given, we call that as definite integrals. Okay, so bear this. Now we are going to actually start up with indefinite integrals. Okay, now let us start up with the concept of indefinite integral. Now let me consider okay, integral of f of x dx. Okay, remember you used to differentiate with respect to x. Here the same thing is you are integrating with respect to x. So this is with respect to x. Now let me consider, I'll get another function here. Okay, if you integrate the differential derivatives, you get back the function, let me say f of x. But remember, for an indefinite integral, you will get a constant plus c. Okay, where for everything usually you can take it as a constant either c or k, but generally we take c. What do you mean by c is the constant of integration, or you call it as integral constant. Okay, but remember, for every indefinite integral, once you integrate the function, you have to write a constant c, okay, where c is the constant of integration. Now you might be wondering, why should we write c? Okay, I'll give you a small picturization of why we should write c, and then we can directly go on to the basic formulas of integration. Okay. Now let us consider the function example. Okay, if I say y is equal to x square, okay, if I say y is equal to x square, this implies what is dy by dx? Dy by dx will be, we know it is 2x, isn't it? So this is first thing. Now if I take y is equal to x square plus 10, even now if you differentiate this function, you will get dy by dx is 2x itself. Okay, if you go on, even if I take y is equal to x square plus 100, okay, even then if you differentiate, you will get dy by dx is equal to 2x, is it not? In the same way, you take any constant. If I take y is equal to x square plus a constant k, this will give me the derivative of this dy by dx will be 2x itself, because we know the derivative of a constant is 0. Now don't forget, all these are equations of another family of equations. We know y is equal to x square is a parabola. So if I take a parabola y is equal to x square, so this will be my parabola y is equal to x square. Okay, but if I take y is equal to x square plus 10, then this will be another family of parabolas with starting with this. Okay, now if I take y is equal to 100, it would be another family of parabolas somewhere over here. Okay, they are almost the same set of family of parabolas, but constant matters. Though there are different type of different constants would give me different curves, but the derivatives would be same. For this case, you add a constant in integration so that this constant part would be balanced. Okay, is it clear? Now one more thing is, for an indefinite integral, this would be balanced when we take the limits from lower limit to upper limit. Is it clear? So always bear this in mind. This is a compulsory part. Okay, for an indefinite integral, as soon as you integrate, the final step you write plus c, where c would be the constant of integration. Okay, so with this basic introduction and the concept of integration, I am going to start with the basic formulas of integration. Okay students, I hope you are excited to go through it. You see what is there in the integration. I am not going to keep you long in guessing. I am not going to keep you guessing for a long time. So let's directly get on to the basic formulas of integration. So the first formula what I'm going to we are going to discuss is, the first formula is integral of x power n with respect to x. So derivative integral of x power n would be x power n plus 1 divided by n plus 1. Remember, derivative integral of x power n with respect to x, that is integrating with respect to x means, that is why x power n dx. Okay, this is nothing but integral of x power n is x power n plus 1 divided by n plus 1 plus c. Remember, c is the constant of integration. Now this holds good for n not equal to minus 1. Okay, bear this in mind. Okay, now let us take examples. Okay, the first one is, if I take integral of x square dx. So integral of x square is very simple. I have x square, just increase the power. So integral of x square is x cube by 3 plus c plus a constant, that's all. Okay, so if I have integral of x power 9 dx, then it would be x power 10 divided by 10 plus c. A small note, in differentiation the constant would be multiplied, but in integration the constant would be divided. Okay, now the third one is, you might think about integral of x power 99. So x power 99 dx would be, just increase one power, so x power 100 divided by 100 plus c. Okay, now with this I am going to write one more regular formula which you are going to use, which is second one is derivative of root x. So derivative of root x would be, remember what is x, when you say root is nothing but power half, isn't it? So x power half dx is nothing but, remember what is, you follow the same procedure here. Okay, so for x power half, if you have x power half, you differentiate what is half plus 1. We know half plus 1 is nothing but 3 by 2. So derivative of x power, integral of x power half would be x power 3 by 2 divided by 3 by 2 plus c. Okay, sometimes instead of dividing by 3 by 2, I will multiply by 2 by 3 x power 3 by 2 plus a constant. Remember, integral of whatever, if you have some other roots, for example, if I have integration of 9 by 2 dx, okay, then integral of 9 by 2 is nothing but x power of, what is 9 by 2 plus 1, it would be 11 by 2. So x power 11 by 2 divided by 11 by 2 plus c. Okay, or else you can also write it as 2 by 11 into x power 11 by 2 plus a constant. Remember, you should not forget to write this constant in the final step. Is it clear? So whatever the power with for x is, you just add the power and divide the constant plus c. Okay, so this is the basic first formula for integration. Okay, now we are moving on to the next formula. Now look here, for this formula I put a condition for n not equal to minus 1. If n is equal to minus 1, what happens? You will get integral of x power minus 1, that means 1 by x dx. So derivative of 1 by x would be a very important derivative. This is because we would be using this so many times. So integral of 1 by x is log of mod x plus a constant. You just recap with differentiation. We know derivative of log is 1 by, isn't it? So if you have 1 by, then the integral of 1 by x is nothing but log of mod x. Okay, so log of mod x plus c. You don't need any examples for this because 1 by x is a standard function. Okay, now moving on to the next formula. It's very simple formula. Next one, integral of e power x dx. Okay, so integral of e power x dx is same as it is. So integral of e power x is e power of x itself plus a constant. Okay, plus a constant. Very simple one. Derivative of e power x is also e power x. At the same time, integral of e power x is also e power x. But in case if you have integral of e power ax dx, if you have integral of e power ax, then it would be integral of ax divided by a plus a constant. Okay, in differentiation the constant would be multiplied. Remember, in integration the constant would be divided. Okay, is it clear? So integral of e power ax is e power ax divided by a plus c. Okay, my next formula is integral of a power x dx. That is, you might be wondering about 2 power x integral. Okay, so integral of a power x is a power x divided by log a plus a constant of integration. Remember, in differentiation you would write a power of x into log a, but here you will write a power of x divided by log a plus a constant. Is it clear? So integral of a power x is a power of x divided by log a plus a constant. Okay, so moving on to the next formula. This is a very important formula, you should bear it in mind. Integral of k dx, that is integral of k dx means integral of a constant. We know derivative of a constant, that is differentiation of a constant, would be 0, but integral of a constant would be it is just like k is kept outside, integral of 1 dx. Okay, so integral of 1 dx is nothing but k into x. Remember, integral of constant is k into x plus c is the constant of integration. Remember, okay. So if I have example, you may think of integral of, example, if I say integral of 100 dx, so then it would be 100x plus c. Is it clear? So if I have the integral of a constant, just multiply x and add the constant of integration. This is a very important formula. Don't forget and make a mistake while solving the problems. Okay, shall we move to the next one? Let me take another example. Okay, if we have integral of dx. Now you might be wondering, there is no function at all. So this actually can be written as integral of 1 into dx. Okay, so whenever you have a constant here, x will come there. Okay, so integral of a constant is x plus c. This c is the constant of integration. This is valid for every function. Okay, now for example, if I have integral of 3 dx, so yeah, tell me Suresh, integral of 3 dx is 3 into x plus c. Is it clear? Now for example, one last question. Now integral of, let me say, log a dx. Remember, log a is completely constant. Yes Raju, what is the integral of log a? So it is log a is a constant, so x will be multiplied plus c. Okay, bear this formula in mind. Okay, now we'll move on to the next formula. The next formula we are going to discuss is integral of 1 by x power n dx. Okay, so integral of 1 by x power n dx would be minus 1 divided by x power n minus 1. Okay, and into n minus 1, into n minus 1. Okay, plus a constant. Okay, or else you can also write this as minus 1 divided by n minus 1 into x power n minus 1. Forget, remember, better it would be better for you to write this way. So integral of 1 by x power n would be minus 1 divided by x power n minus 1 into x power n minus 1 plus a constant of integration. Okay, example, very simple. This is integral of 1 by x power 6 would be, just if the power is in the denominator, then the power would be subtracted. So 1 less than 6 is 5. So it is minus 1 by 5 into x power 5 plus c. Is it clear? Now similarly, if we have 1 divided by x cube dx, then this would be minus 1 divided by 1 less than 3 is 2. So 2x square plus c. Is it clear? This is a very simple formula here. Integral of 1 by x power n is minus 1 by n minus 1 into x power n minus 1 plus a constant of integration. Okay. Now we can also think of this one as an also formula. So integral of 1 by x square dx would be, so minus 1 divided by, so 1 less than 2 is 1. So 1 is multiplied, it would be same. So minus 1 by x plus c. You can take it as a formula itself. Integral of 1 by x square is minus 1 by x plus c. You can think of differentiation. Derivative of 1 by x is minus 1 by x square, isn't it? So integral of 1 by x square is minus 1 by x plus c. Okay, very important formula. The next formula we are going to discuss is integral of 1 by root x. Okay, integral of 1 by root x dx would be 2 times root x plus a constant of integration. Remember, integral of 1 by root x is 2 root x plus c. Is it clear? Very basic formula here. You would be using it many times while you solving the other higher order problems. Okay, so we'll move on to the next formulas, and now we are going to the trigonometric formulas. Okay, now remember, integral of sine x dx. Okay, integral of sin x would be minus cos x plus c. Remember, differentiation of sine was cos, but integration of sine is minus cos, because it's the reverse process, isn't it? Because if you differentiate cos, you will get minus sine, but that minus is taken this side. Don't get confused. Okay, integral of sine is minus cos x dx. Okay, but if you have something like integral of sine ax dx. Okay, so if you have sine ax dx, then it would be minus cos of ax divided by a. Remember, in differentiation you would multiply, but here I would divide, plus constant of integration c. Okay, so this is for sine. Next, let me take for cos. Integral of cos x dx would be sin x plus constant of integration, because differentiation of sine is cos, therefore integration of cos is sine back. Okay, please be careful. Therefore, you can think of integral of cos ax dx. So this is nothing but sin ax divided by a plus a constant c. Okay, think of an example. Okay, let us take one or two examples. So if I take an example, let me say integral of sin 3x dx. So integral of sine would be, remember, minus cos of 3x divided by 3 plus c. Okay, next, let me, if I take integral of cos 4x dx. So integral of cos 4x, we know integral of cos is plus sine. So cos 4x would be sine 4x divided by a constant 4 plus the constant of integration c. Is it clear? Now let me take another example. If I take integral of let me say sine 9x dx. Okay, so integral of sine 9x is minus cos 9x divided by the constant 9 plus c. Is it clear? So these are just an examples. You would be solving it many in the exercises. Okay, so remember, integral of sine is minus cos and integral of cos is plus sine. Okay, shall we move to the next functions? Right. The next formula is integral of secant square x dx. Remember, if you differentiate tan, you're going to get secant square, isn't it? So if you integrate secant square, you're going to get tan x plus c, where c is the constant of integration. Okay, remember. So in case if you have integration of secant square ax dx, so if you have a constant a, then this would be tan of ax divided by a constant plus c. Okay, example, think of an example. Integral of secant square 2x dx. So integral of secant square 2x is, so integral of secant square is tan, the function is 2x divided by 2 plus a constant. Is it clear? So this is the integral of secant square. The next formula is, let me take the number as 12, integral of cosecant square. Okay, so integral of cosecant square x dx would be minus cot x. Remember, derivative of tan is secant square and derivative of cot is minus cosecant square, isn't it? But that minus we don't take it in the formula left hand side, we shift it to right hand side. So integral of cosecant square is minus cot x plus c, which is the constant of integration. Okay, so if you have a constant, for example, if you have cosecant square ax dx, then this would be minus cot of ax divided by a plus c, where c is the constant of integration. Example, so if I take an example, integration of, if I say cosecant square 4x dx. So integral of cosecant square is minus cot of, instead of x I have 4x, so write 4x as it is. Only thing is divide that constant plus c, which is the constant of integration. Okay, Now the next formula would be integral of, let me take the number as 13, okay, integral of secant into tan. Okay, I think you already have an idea for it. If what function if you differentiate you will get secant into tan? I hope you guessed it, Raju. It is secant, isn't it? So derivative of secant is secant into tan. Therefore integral of secant into tan would be secant x plus c, which is the constant of integration. Okay. In case if you have integral of secant ax, then remember you would be having tan ax also, dx. So this integral would be secant ax plus c. But remember, this is the main formula. You have to remember this. If you take an example, okay, integral of secant 3x into tan 3x dx would be, remember, it is secant 3x divided by 3. Remember, sorry, this constant would be divided. Okay, so secant 3x divided by 3 plus c, which is the constant of integration. So once you get secant into tan, I think definitely the next formula would be integral of the next one, cosecant x into cot x dx. Okay, so integral of cosecant into cot x would be, fine, good, it would be minus cosecant x plus the constant of integration. Okay, now if you have another constant, what, a? So integral of cosecant ax into cot ax dx would be minus of cosecant ax divided by a constant a plus c. Let me take a small example, one example for this. Example, integral of cosecant 5x into cot 5x dx would be negative of, what is integral of cosecant into cot? So it is integral of cosecant, I have a constant 5x, so divide by a constant plus this c is the constant of integration. This is common for all the functions. Okay. Now you have to pay careful attention to the next formulas, because they would be like offer formulas. These are buy one get one free offers. So if you have 1 divided by root of 1 minus x square, is it not? So 1 divided by root of 1 minus x square dx, the integral of this would be sine inverse x plus c. Remember, if you want to write it in terms of sine inverse x, then it would be positive sine inverse of x plus c. But this, if you want to write it in terms of cos inverse x, for both the integrals the value would be same. But for sine inverse of x it is positive, but for cos inverse x it would be negative cos inverse of x plus c. Okay, remember 1 by root of 1 minus x square integral is sine inverse of x plus c or negative cos inverse of x plus c, because in differentiation for both sine inverse of x and cos inverse of x derivative would be same, only the sign changes. Here the reverse of it, for the given derivative the function would be say almost sine inverse x and cos inverse x, only thing is sign is changing. Okay, remember, for sine it is positive, sine inverse it is positive, and for cos inverse it is negative. Okay. So the next formula is integral of 1 divided by, instead of 1 divided by I can also write dx divided by 1 plus x square. It is understood, because we know 1 plus 1 into dx is dx back. So 1 divided by 1 plus x square is known as, we know it is derivative of tan inverse x is what, 1 divided by 1 plus x square. So you can either write tan inverse of x plus c, or it is also minus of cot inverse of x plus c. Remember, integral of 1 by 1 plus x square is, if it is in tan inverse it is plus, if it is cot inverse x it would be negative. Okay. Similarly the next one, integral of 1 divided by x into root of x square minus 1 dx. As I told you, you can multiply dx here itself. This means you are integrating with respect to x. So this is nothing but, as in the previous case, we know if you integrate secant inverse x, if you differentiate secant inverse x, you will get 1 divided by x into root of x square minus 1, isn't it? Therefore, integral of 1 divided by x into root of x square minus 1 is secant inverse x plus c, or if you want to write in terms of cosecant inverse, only thing is you will get negative. So, minus cosecant inverse of x plus a constant c. Okay, please bear this in mind. These are the basic formulas of integrals. Okay, I have another 4 formulas, but generally we don't use that as direct formulas. Let me call this as extra formulas. Okay, you might have noticed here I did not give you the integral of tan x or cot x or secant x and cosecant x, isn't it? Did I give you? You can see there I gave you the integral of secant square and cosecant square, but not secant into cosecant. I gave you secant into tan, but not for tan separately or cot separately. There are special formulas which we are going to prove this in the further classes. There is a proof for this. Okay, what are the proof of these special extra formulas? Remember, the first of extra formulas, what I am going to say is integral of tan x. So, integral of tan x would be log of secant x. So, integral of tan x would be log of secant x plus c, or else you can, it is same as minus log of cos x plus c. Remember, this minus, according to log, you will get, you can take it as power, and we know cos power minus 1 is 1 by cos. So, 1 by cos, you get it back secant. So, it is always better for you to remember this one. Okay, integral of tan x is log of mod secant x. In an integral, remember, whenever you get log of the function, it is modulus function. Okay, so the second one is integral of cot x. So, integral of cot x is log of mod sin x. Okay, so log of mod sin x plus c. Log of mod sin x is the integral of cot x, and log of secant mod secant x is the integral of tan x. Okay, 2 more is left over. So, let me take the third one. I have integral of secant x dx. Okay, therefore, integral of secant x is, remember, it is log of mod secant x plus tan x plus c. Remember, we are going to use this in further classes for further problems, and we are going to prove this also. Okay, so but for now, just remember the formulas. So, integral of secant is log of mod secant plus tan. Okay, now the fourth one is integral of cosecant x dx. So, integral of cosecant x would be log of mod cosecant x minus cot x plus c, which is the constant of integration. Okay, so this would be the basic formulas of integration. Okay, is it clear? So now friends, before I wind up this session, I want to give you 2 major algebra of integrals. First thing, if you have integral of a constant into f of x dx. So, this is the scalar multiplication if you have. Remember, in differentiation you would keep aside and differentiate. Even here for an integral also, if there is a constant, you can keep it aside and integrate just the function with respect to x plus c. Okay. So, what happens if you integrate f of x? Let me say you will get a function capital F of x plus c would be the constant of integration. So, if a constant is multiplied for a function, you can just keep it aside and just integrate the function. Okay. For example, let me say integral of 3 into e power x dx. So, this would be, as I told you, 3 is kept aside, you just integrate e power of x dx. So, this would be 3 into, What is integral of e power x? It is e power of x itself plus a constant of integration. Okay, and one more thing is, if I have, this is the sum or difference rule. Okay, if I have f plus or minus g of x, okay, dx. Okay, if you have sum or difference of two or more integrals, then you can split up as integral of f of x dx plus or minus integral of g of x dx. That is, if you have sum of two or three functions, then you can take the integral separately. I'll just give you a small one example, but we are going to solve the other examples in the next session. For example, integral of, if I have e power of x into sin x dx. So if he gives you this way, I can take the integrals separately. So integral of e power x dx plus integral of sin x dx. Okay, so this is nothing but integral of ex would be ex. Now what is the integral of sine? Remember, integral of sine is minus cos x plus the c, which is the constant of integration. So my dear friends, we have come to the conclusion of this session. So I just don't want to start any problems now in this session, because the formulas are very important for you to solve the problems in integration. Okay, so before we come back to the next session on starting the problems working, I want you to be thorough with all the formulas of integration. It is better for you, I advise you to make a chart of these and hang it in your cupboards or hang it in your rooms daily where you sleep, so that every day you can just have a look at it. Both you can make two charts, one for the formulas of differentiation, the other for the formulas of integration, so that if you are thorough with the formulas, as you saw in the case of differentiation, if you are good with the formulas, the concept becomes very easy. The same thing with integration. If you are good with formulas, then you can easily integrate any different kind of for functions depending upon that particular problems. Okay, so I'm not going to bore you up with much talk. We'll see you again in the next session, and I'm just excited to get into the exercise problems of this chapter. It's a very big chapter, I'm telling you. So get ready with all the formulas thorough in your mind. Okay, so we'll meet again in the problem working class in the next session. Until then, take care and bye.